Cold emailing in 2026. What has changed? What's new? And what shouldn't you do? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Instead of focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to The Brian Nichols Show.
Well, hey there, folks. Welcome to today's episode of The Brian Nichols Show. I am, as always, your humble host, joining you from our lovely Cardio Miracle studio here in sunny Eastern Indiana. The Brian Nichols Show is powered by the best heart health supplement in the world, Cardio Miracle. So, if you want to learn how to lower your resting heart rate, lower your blood pressure while improving your pump at the gym, stick around, or you simply scan a little QR code over my shoulder. They'll bring you to Cardio Miracle, where you can go ahead and you'll see a little note on the top of your browser saying you're shopping with Brian Nichols, which will get you 15% off your order, or just make it easier, folks. Go to cardiomiracle.com/TBNS. Either way, again, 15% off your order. And folks, it will help lower your resting heart rate, lower your blood pressure while improving your pump at the gym. I don't just say so, I know so, because I've experienced it myself. I've been using Cardio Miracle for well over 2 years now, and I've seen the benefits for myself. So one more time, head to cardiomiracle.com/TBNS and start your Cardio Miracle journey today. And make sure you tell them that Brian Nichols sent you. But with that being said, let's jump into today's conversation at hand, and that is cold emailing. If you're a small business owner, or if you're in the world of sales development, or heck, even in the world of campaign politics, you probably have sent a couple of cold emails trying to curate business, curate fundraising dollars, curate whatever it may be. And today's guest, he's an expert in all things email, outbound curation in the sales dev world. And that's because, maybe his company's called Email Outreach Company. That might give you a little sneak peek of what we're talking about today. Returning to the show is Adam Rosen of the Email Outreach Company. Adam, welcome back to the show. How you been, buddy? What's new?
Brian, I feel like at some point you just have to start a business where you just do intros for everybody. You might be the greatest intro man I've ever spoken with. So always great to see you. Always appreciate you having me on. And I have one question for you before we get started.
What's up?
How is everybody, you're speaking on the entire great state of Indiana, feeling about the big game coming up with Indiana and the University of Miami? How are we feeling?
I think everybody is on pins and needles right now, man. I think everybody's confident, though. So if you're a Colts fan, I'm not a Colts fan, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I watched firsthand as the Indianapolis Colts went from 9-2, right, to then losing all but 2 games the rest of the year. And just to watch that fan base absolutely gutted. And that's just after the Pacers lost in the finals after, his name escapes me, but he tore his Achilles there in the second to last game. So Indiana sports, Adam, they're very confident in IU right now. Mendoza's been playing out of his mind, and our coach is insane. But everybody's just kind of saying, please don't let whatever that thing that has been impacting the Hoosier sports impact us here tonight. But we'll see what happens, man. Who you pulling for?
I feel like the entire country, with the exception of people that go to the U, are cheering for Indiana. So there's just such a likable story. Your coach, Mendoza, the whole squad, like you guys, and it's a true underdog story. So I feel like I don't think I've met somebody who's not pulling for Indiana unless they have rooting interest in the team they're playing.
Which, I get it, right? I'm a Cowboys fan, and sometimes it's hard to watch if an NFC East team, Eagles, get to, the Super Bowl, for example. Even worse when you live there, but that's a different story for a different day. Adam, emails are an integral part of an outbound sales dev motion. I've used email outbound campaigns for years in the sales dev space. I use it when I'm coaching brand new organizations building out their go-to-market strategies. Hey, it's a part of the outreach campaign. It's not always the only piece of the outreach campaign, but it's a huge part of it, right? And one of the things I constantly hear is, Brian, man, AI has just made stuff messy. Adam, I'm sure you hear that a lot. And frankly, I get it, because I get 1,000,001 emails a day that are AI slop. So just let's start, from here, right? How is AI impacted email outreach in 2026? What are you seeing?
Well, I think AI has impacted just about any type of business and within any parts of the business. The good of AI is how easy it is. And the bad of AI is also how easy it is. So when it comes to emailing specifically, the problem is because it's so easy to be lazy and so easy to press send and so easy to get a bunch of emails out, it makes so people that cut corners can do a lot of volume, but it's volume that is not going to yield results. So just like with any tool we have at our disposal, how we use it determines the result much more than just using it. So there's ways to where an AI email can sound like you just spend 2 hours researching this individual and you handcrafted a beautiful email to them. Or it can feel like, hi, I saw you went to this university. Was this your mascot? Are you interested in chatting about this thing? And it's not going to get you anywhere.
Why, Adam, do you think, oh, I'm not on camera. There we go. Why, Adam, do you think that, there has been such a push recently in not just in the outbound world, but I would say across channels, right? Like I see this in inbound as well, of almost looking at email now as an afterthought, right? Is it related? And maybe it's not. Maybe this is something I'm seeing. Like I've actually noticed that the number of outbound emails have gone down in my inbox recently. It used to be daily, man, daily. And I've actually gotten a lot less. Are people starting to say like, ooh, this maybe isn't working like it used to, like the AI slop, or are emails not as effective as they used to be, 10 years ago? What do you see?
What I see is every year there's a few instances throughout the year where Yahoo, Outlook, Google, etc., make it incredibly hard to get results through emails. They'll have like 3 weeks where you almost can't even land in the inboxes no matter what you do. And I think the reason why they do it is it's a way to just get bad emailers out of the game. So like, for example, when I first started really emailing at scale was during my first tech startup, which I had from about 2015 to 2019. And there was cold emails going on, but there wasn't too much noise. It's pretty easy to get away with just being okay. First 2.5 years of having email outreach company, kind of similar. But since 2023, it's gotten to the point where there's a lot of people that are just throwing crap out there, and it's making the email world look a little bit worse than it probably should be. And people don't get as good of results if you're not going to do a great job with it. And it's harder to do a great job, frankly, in 2026 and beyond. So what I think is happening is a lot of people maybe tried it, they didn't get results, and they said, hey, this channel doesn't work, so I'm going to give up. Where in reality, it's like, if you can make this thing work, it should be the engine that just continues to load up your top of funnel. But if you try it for 3 weeks and you don't get results and you give up, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Is cold email for everyone?
Because I'm biased, I don't know if there's a scenario I can see where it wouldn't work, with the exception of if you just can't get someone's emails. So like if for whatever reason you're trying to reach out to a buyer where their emails are just ungettable, which I can't come up with a scenario in my head at this moment, I believe email should work. Now, that doesn't mean, like, for example, you should be a customer of mine. Like if you sell a $27 water bottle, you shouldn't work with us. However, if I was selling a $27 water bottle, I would be using email to get new customers. But the way I always look at it is, if you can get someone's email address, you should be leveraging email.
Well, that's the hard part, right? If you can get someone's email address. Well, Adam, what if they can't, right? Like, what do you guys see successful? Do you have data sources? So like, if I'm a small business owner and I need help, what does that look like if I reach out to you? Like, I don't know where to start looking for data. Do you? I'm guessing you do.
No, we're stumped on that one, but no, yeah, exactly. The nice thing about email today, like you could always scrape email lists, like even 2016, 17, like you could still scrape emails, but it was a little more expensive, a little more difficult to do it. Or you had to rely on really expensive services like Zoom Info. The reality is you don't need that anymore. Like you can get email lists, like shoot, even if you get what isn't a great email list, but it's an email list nonetheless through Instantly. It's super cheap. You're going to be paying like pennies for an email, and it's easy to get. It'll take you, 5 minutes to scrape a list through there. And there's plenty of other providers that are similar to that. Now, if you want to get more complex, there's ways to do that as well. If you want to get into complex enrichment through tools like Clay, you should certainly do that. But for anybody that just wants to dip their toes and kind of start on easy mode, it is easier and cheaper than ever to get into the game.
Level 365 gives you real US-based support from real people who know the platform, so help is always easy to reach. Whether you need answers, changes, or troubleshooting, you'll talk to someone who can actually help. And as your business evolves, support scales with you. It's all powered by one dependable UC platform. Learn more at level365.com.
So Adam, one thing I would want to ask next is when you're sitting down with a new business, right? A lot of folks simply just don't know what I should put into an email to make it effective. And a lot of folks, I mean, I was using the example yesterday with a small business owner, Bill's Tire Shop, right? Like Bill's not focused on email copy, right? He's focused on tires. So like, what do you do to help organizations that maybe the folks you're talking to, they're not writing copy, they're not super familiar? What do you do?
It's funny. I was just having this conversation earlier today
With Bill.
Exactly. With Bill, the tire guy.
That's right.
And I was saying how we will never know as much as Bill does about tires. We will never know as much as Bill does about his customers, what problems they face, what solutions they're looking for, what they look like when they're strolling into the tire shop, et cetera, et cetera. So we rely on Bill to share with us what he knows about his business and his customers. On the other side, Bill will never know as much as we know about email and what works. We're sending millions and millions of emails every single month. So as you can imagine, the data we get on what works and what doesn't work helps drive our decisions moving forward. For example, what words should we put in the subject line? What words should we put in the body of the email? Should we personalize it in this way or in that way? Should it be 12 sentences or 3 sentences? Should the call to action be this or should the call to action be that? So we use what Bill knows about his business with our knowledge in copywriting to create an email that marries the best of both worlds, expertise on the business and expertise when it comes to copywriting and knowing what converts through email.
So another thing I want to dig into, Adam, is when you're going through and you're sending all these emails, sometimes it's hard to know what good looks like, right? I've heard that 2% click rate. Is that good? Right? Is that good? I don't know. 20% open rate. I don't know. I think that's good. That sounds good. What does good look like, and how do you help small business owners understand what good looks like?
One thing I want to differentiate is cold email versus newsletters. So cold email is when you say, "Hey, Bill, the tire guy, I see you are making a push to get more corporate customers. We've helped other tire shops like yours get new customers through the power of email. Are you open to a 15-minute conversation to learn more?" That's a cold email. Hopefully Bill sees it and thinks, wow, Adam from Email Outreach Company really did his homework. Let me get on a call with him. Newsletters, that's more about like, hey, here's what you should learn about cold email marketing. Here's new tricks. There's images. There might be some videos. You're linking out to other areas. You're nurturing it. It's a warm list. People that have opted into receiving emails from you. So on the cold email side, you never, ever, ever want to track opens. The reason why is, one, the data is not accurate. Opens are so overcounted now because of Apple and all these technologies will, have a bot basically open the email. So it's not good data, number one. And number two, tracking opens in cold email actually increases the likelihood that you're going to end up in spam. So the best metric we use is around, number one, reply rate. And then number two is, of course, positive reply rate. Like who's actually interested in meeting, interested in the product or service we're selling via email. So a good reply rate is like, look, if you're 1% on the low end to 3-4%, you're doing a great job in terms of replies. People that are actually saying, hey, I'm interested or I'm not interested. When it comes to positive replies, and this number sometimes trips people up, but it's really not that different no matter what type of marketing you do. You do a Facebook ad, LinkedIn ad, a billboard in Times Square, it's the same idea. But if you can get to one positive reply for every 2,500 emails you're sending, just know you're doing a very good job in the space. And then if your universe is big enough, which most companies' universes are, potential customers, you can scale that where you send 10,000 emails a month, 50,000 emails a month, 500,000 emails a month, and then it just becomes a math equation.
And who doesn't love that kind of math, right? I never liked the whole negative b plus or minus the whole square root b squared over 4ac, and you put the whole thing over 2 times a. I didn't like that, right? I understand the math of if I put in this work and I see this result, I can do math if that's good or not, right? That's the fun stuff, not as fun as the commission math. That's a different conversation for a different day. Adam, one thing I want to get to as we're going towards the tail end of the conversation here is, for some folks, this might sound like a lot, right? You got to, it sounds like get email domain set up. You gotta get, email copy set up. It sounds like it's either going to take a lot of time, energy, and effort, or it's going to cost a lot of money. Is either of those things true? Fill us in here from your experience. And of course, if folks were, wondering, what you guys do over at Email Outreach Company, what might a process look like to begin a conversation there?
Yeah. So to answer your first question on it, the reality, if you want to do this on your own, there's going to be a learning curve, no matter what you do. Like whether you want to commit to email marketing, cold calling, Facebook, SEO, you name it. If you want to do it on your own, there will be a learning curve. And it's going to be hard to get through that part because it takes a real commitment to learn something new and really become an expert. So the reality is if you do want to do it on your own, there will be a learning curve. The benefit, though, is email really is not an expensive marketing medium. Like you don't have to just put a bunch of money into Facebook ads and then hope and pray that your right ICP will fall into your lap and will come to you. The other side of it is there are solutions, some more expensive than others. Like my company is not the cheapest one to work with. There's cheaper solutions you can find on Upwork and work with some people overseas, but the quality will be what it's going to be. But there's a lot of solutions out there of companies like mine that will say, look, you don't have to worry about doing any of this stuff. We'll build your infrastructure. We already know all the technology. We have the list. We'll book the meetings, and all you need to do is show up to those meetings. So both options are available to you. It's really just, do you have the time and the desire to do it on your own? Or do you feel like you have a good sales process where the math equation, going back to the math equation, will work in your favor? Where, hey, I'll pay this company X, but I know in return, if I can get Y amount of meetings, that's going to lead to Z revenue for me, which equals, ABC profit. So it should just be a math equation. So going into your question about working with us, that's essentially what we do. We have customers that we'll just do consulting for. So we act as like their cold email advisor in a way. We have other customers, usually at product market fit stage. And we do work with some fun brands like the UFC or Allstate, where we just do everything end to end. We book the meetings and our customers show up to the meetings and take the sales call from there. So any of those options can work with us. It really just depends on your business, your average deal size, and what stage you are in your business journey.
Adam, I always love our chats because you make the process so simple, right? To say, I want to start reaching out to a target market, to then actually doing so. And your results speak for yourself, right? Like Dana White don't work with anybody. So the fact he's working with you, you're doing something right. But like also the fact that you approach things in such a way that it very much is tailored to the individual business. I've seen this a lot where, and in the era of AI stuff, it's constant. You'll see people will just like make up, they'll make up like these little AI chat GPT, what are they called? I guess they're the GPTs, right? And those things turn into basically like this copy and paste template gobbledygook, right? You guys are doing such unique stuff over at EOC. And it's actually finding the success that a lot of these other companies promise, but you guys are actually delivering. So with that being said, I'll give you the final platform here for call to action. Adam, where can folks go ahead and reach out, learn more? And of course, I know you're busy, you're traveling all over the world, but when people, you do have some time and folks wanted to go ahead and maybe reach out or learn more about Adam Rosen, where's the best place for folks? Go ahead and do that.
You can check out our website at eocworks.com. From there, you can sign up for our newsletter. We have a newsletter that goes out where we try to educate all of our subscribers on the latest and greatest when it comes to cold email, and that is completely free. Then if you want to reach out to me directly, you can email me at adam@eocworks.com or find me on social media. I'm most active on LinkedIn and Instagram, and that's just at Adam I. Rosen.
All right, Adam. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and put a pin in today's conversation. Folks, if you got some value from today's chat, do me a favor, go ahead, give it a share. When you do, tag yours truly at B Nichols Liberty on X, Facebook, and Instagram, or you can go ahead and subscribe to the show on your favorite platforms, like if you're listening to us on your earbuds on the go, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or wherever it is you consume your podcast content. Or if you like to sit down, have a nice meal, watch the Brian Nichols Show, because yes, we are a video platform. Head over to Rumble, YouTube, YouTube, Facebook, X, or Spotify. Yeah, you can watch us over on Spotify on the go as well on your phone. So just make sure you do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, because every week we have a brand new episode air every week at 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. But today's episode is a special one because I like Adam and I want to go ahead and get our episode out fast. So go ahead, make sure, folks, you hit subscribe, because you might have a special little bonus here or there for a special episode. So with that being said, thank you again for joining us. Adam, any final thoughts for the audience before we go ahead and say goodbye today?
Go IU. Let's go Hoosiers. Let's get a W this weekend.
There you go. I know there's a guy over here just walked in my other office, and he's a big Indiana fan. He just said, "Go IU, Jeremiah." See, everybody's cheering here at the studio, Adam. You just got everybody all jacked up. All right, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye today. With that being said, Brian Nichols signing off here on the Brian Nichols Show for Adam Rosen. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.
You're trying to stay sharp, whether it's for work, learning, or just not forgetting where you left your keys. Been there. But lately, the mental fog hits hard. And brain fog isn't just stress. It's often tied to poor blood flow and low nitric oxide levels, because your brain needs oxygen just as much as your other muscles do. Because without it, you're slower to process, less focused, and more fatigued. And that's one of the many reasons why I trust Cardio Miracle. Not only does it boost nitric oxide for heart and circulation, it supports cognitive clarity, focus, and even mood regulation thanks to its unique blend of L-arginine, CoQ10, vitamin D3, and antioxidant-rich superfoods. So if you're tired of feeling mentally cloudy, give your brain what it's craving. Click the link in the show notes, scan that little QR code over my shoulder, or head to cardiomiracle.com/TBNS, which will give you 15% off your order. Just look for the little note on the website saying you're shopping with Brian Nichols. One more time, that's cardiomiracle.com/TBNS. And now, let's get back to the show.